From Las Vegas, Sandy Kastel and friends.
Necessarily those of the staff or management of KLAV.
KLAV with Sandy Kastel and Chef Michael.
Welcome to Sandy Kastel and Friends, produced by Michael Leonetti. Sandy Kastel has been entertaining audiences for years on stage, screen, radio, and television. And for the next 60 minutes, she'll be talking with local and international performers, artists, authors, celebrities, and more, with special features like women in music and arts, shopping at Smith's, cooking with Chef Michael, and staying fit and fabulous forever. Now, let's bring on the host. Here is Sandy Kastel.
Good morning and welcome to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael. Hi, Chef. How you doing?
Yeah, how you doing?
What are you doing drinking? What are you doing? You're
Scotch
drinking
and
some
soda,
water?
baby. Sandy, I got to tell you.
And you're eating peanut butter cookies in the morning. This is what Chef Michael eats in the morning. Can you believe this? What happened to the frittata you used to make? You used to make the scrambled eggs and the bacon and the potatoes and the toast and the sausage and gravies. What happened?
I don't have time.
I guess not. You know, we are so busy. And speaking of which, we are going to be filming over at Keen TV this week for the holiday segment that's coming up next week. I'm so excited.
I got to tell you, Saturday night, ladies and gentlemen, was beyond spectacular.
Oh, that's
Not
right.
only Sandy's birthday.
Weema.
And she said to me, you know, Mike, they got toys for tots, and they got this over here and that over there. And, you know, the holidays, there's a million things people are doing.
A million things.
You can't go every place. I got to tell you something. It was the best WEMA event we had. It was packed. You couldn't move in the place. My father-in-law, Dick Kastel, did a job that was unsurpassed. Just great. He did a great job. He swung.
Oh, that's you.
We had Paris Red, who ripped the place down.
Oh, my gosh. Amazing.
Serenity got up. And now we got Mark. Then we had Yolanda Kwan, who
That's right.
knocked him upside down. The entertainment that we had there was great. It was open bar, food. We had truffles and bacon. And they supposed to leave. They were going to do something. And these kids stayed all night.
Cafe de Cebu was there.
Cafe de Cebu was there.
Oh,
the
they
boo-boo.
brought some great food. We had the macaroni and things balls, macaroni balls or whatever from truffles and bacon.
Incredible.
And then we had the pork lichon, you know, the cooked pork lichon. Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
And
of course we had stuff from you. We had the
pasta al
grasso.
I had the sausage and peppers. I really like Guinea stuff.
We need to call the sausage and peppers, after Dad or something. I think because he loves those peppers. What about the peppers? No. Why?
Then we had Mark Thompson, Marco Varello. We had an opera collage of people.
Athena
Spencer
Emeritus.
Baker was incredible.
That's right.
He came up. I'm telling you.
We had Nathan Van Arsdale.
Unbelievable.
And we had a new singer
who's
there.
Yeah, what was her name?
And I just forgot it. But she was the alto, mezzo. And it was just amazing. I've got her.
But I gotta tell you,
Erin was her name.
I gotta tell you, I said, what the hell happened to Flurry?
Yeah, speaking of which, Flurry's on the phone.
What happened to you,
Where did you go, Flurry?
I turned around and said, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Flurry. And I said, maybe he's in the bathroom. They said he grabbed his boombox and he went home. I said, what the hell happened to Flurry?
I know.
No, my coach.
What happened?
I'm like Evan Cohen, who called the other day. I've never had a cold for a whole month and a week, and my God, it was a miracle I was able to come, and I enjoyed the festivities. And I'm a big new fan of Dick Kastel. Oh, my Lord. He is that tone that he gives. When I play sax, that's the tone I go after.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He's just an original. And, I don't know if they appreciate him, but boy, we better appreciate him while he's here, because that's the original sound of tenor. He nails it.
Well, you know what he does, Flurry? He uses a certain kind of mouthpiece that gives him that full, big sound. And, we've talked about that before. It really comes out of the mouthpiece.
That's the thing. A lot of musicians don't know little secrets like that.
Right.
You can pick a certain mouthpiece to get a different sound, like a drummer.
Yeah.
There's certain type of snares. Now, they only had a certain group back in the 60s, but now they got piccolo snares and all kind of different sounds you can get with the hip-hop stuff,
Oh, yeah.
But, I enjoyed myself, and you guys are lovely. I love you. Whatever I can do to support you, I will. Your heart's in the right place. And
well, I thought you were going to sing 3 songs for me. You said, I'm going to sing 3 songs for you.
I owe you 3 songs. I'm still trying to get rid of that congestion.
I know.
I'm a health food guy.
I know.
And my boss in the Ink Spot, he said, why does the health food guy come down with a cold? That's crazy. So it's been a crazy year, but God has got us here anyway.
But Flurry, I did get you to join in on Jingle Bells. I got everybody to join in on Jingle Bells.
Well, thanks, Flurry. We love you, buddy.
Thank
you so much for joining us. Okay. Love you guys. Love you. Okay, bye.
See you guys.
Thank you, man. So anyway, we got a Paris Red. She comes in. What a doll this kid is.
I know.
I said, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to. She's a combination. Because when you say who's Paris Red, well, like say who's Mike Leonetti? If somebody had to mention me and say, I don't know who the guy is. What does he play the drums like? Say, well, you ever hear Gene Krupa? You ever hear Buddy Rich? Yeah. Well, if you like them 2 guys, you'll love him. Well, when it comes to Paris Red, I turned around and said, she's a combination of Barbra Streisand, a combination of Ella Fitzgerald and Sarah Vaughan. She gets up and she sings. Now, everybody has a favorite
and
song.
she looks amazing.
Yes,
did you see what she was dressed in?
She looks fabulous.
She had a little fur.
And the girl's 81 years old. It's incredible.
Yeah, right.
Or 18.
She's
I got it around.
Adorable. She's a sweetheart, and
she's full of class.
So nice, yeah, for her to come up.
And she gets up and she sings all of me. She goes, I don't want to sing that. It's Sandy's song. I said, sing this song. I said, because
but Dad sang it too.
Yeah, what the hell's the difference?
Everybody's singing that song.
It's fun.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, she came up, knocked them dead, and then we had Monique Brewster.
That's right.
I love Monique. She's so, I got to tell you something. It's so nice to be around class and personality, because these are the nicest people you want to meet. Paris Red is just wonderful, and I want to give a shout out. I talked to Jimmy Melodor today, and we're getting ready because he was talking about the Smith Center, and I never performed at the Smith Center, and I says, let's do it, Jimmy. I said, we'll get me, you, we'll get the greatest jazz, we'll get Paris Red, Sandy, we'll knock them dead. We'll give them something that they're not ready for.
Should be a lot of fun.
Oh, we'll sell out. I'm not worried about selling out.
Oh my God! Look who's on the phone.
Well, you know something? My good friend Robert Gordy came in. He's my #1 fan when it comes to food. And he walked in with a jacket. I don't know where the hell he got that jacket at. It's Scarface.
I know where he got it from.
Where the hell did you get that jacket at, buddy?
Hey, Robert.
Sandy, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I feel like a new man again. My nose is all clear, and I'm telling you, I had.
This is a different Robert.
Oh, this is a different Robert.
Yes.
Oh, so I'm thinking of Robert Gordy. This is another. See, that's my engineer.
This is
You're
Robert.
fired.
No, this is Robert. He's our new friend, and you've been listening to the show since day 1, I think, right?
Yes, I have.
Well, Robert was a gentleman that came down. He was a fan. And I mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, Friday. I said, we're going to be at Smith's. Come on down. You know what I mean? Chef Mike and Sandy Kastel will be there. Anyway, it was such a tremendous success. It was incredible. And one thing about Smith's, they opened up the door for me. They let me go behind. Yes, it was great. They let me go behind the counter. I picked up the phone. And I was constantly on the air, and I'm saying, this is Chef Mike, we're going to give away $25. Come on down. Oh, you won 73777. Oh, that's it. Oh, I'm so excited. And I do that BS on the thing.
And Robert came down and helped us. Robert was out. We had the Star International was there, and they were giving out free show tickets. Free show tickets. Right. Yes, for everybody who came over and signed up. They got free show tickets to either Vinnie Favorino, is that
Mac
Frankie
Davis.
Marino? I'm sorry, Frank
Marino, Vinnie Favorino.
Favorino.
Is that it?
Vinnie
Favorino.
And Mac.
Mac Davis.
Fred Mac.
10 Mac's Amateur Hour. Anyway, I want to say something.
They have another show there, too.
I talked to Robert, and Robert made a statement. And I said, Bob.
What did he say?
Well, I said, Bob, I'll tell you what. If that's how you feel, why don't you pick up the phone and why don't you let our listeners know what you said to me? So, ladies and gentlemen,
here's Robert.
Here's Robert.
Here's Robert.
Could I finish?
Yeah, what?
And Robert is going to tell everybody
what he thinks.
What he told me. Go ahead, Bob.
What'd you tell him?
It's all yours, buddy.
Robert?
Yes, I'm here, Sandy. How are you this morning?
Good. So what did you tell Chef Michael?
I told Chef Michaels, I said, you are one of the greatest persons that I've ever met in my whole life since I've been here in almost 20 years in Las Vegas. And I got to tell you one thing. You know, I feel like I've known the both of you for all of my life. You know, the chemistry and the feelings and everything just flowed so naturally. I had one of the nicest days of my whole life, and I can't wait to help you both again, honest.
We really appreciated you coming out and helping us, you know. And we look forward to, you know, doing other events together. And I will let you know the next time, because he was saying whatever I can do to help. And I said, well, I'll be calling on you, Robert. Okay?
Thank you, buddy.
Well, you can count on me, and my phone is always open to either one of you. God bless you both, and I hope you have a wonderful birthday and a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and a Happy Hanukkah and everything in between.
Thank you. You too, Robert. All right. Have a good day.
So nice of him. See,
thank
you,
I know.
sir. You know, it's a funny thing. You know, it's always nice to hear somebody say something nice, because from a scale 1 to 10, 6 people say something bad about somebody. You know what I mean? There's only a handful of people that want to say something nice. You know, and that's sad.
I think that's what drives newspapers, you know, and newscasts. You know, you sit there and you listen to the news sometimes, and you know, my dad will say something to me, and he'll mention something about what's going on, and he'll say, "Well, did you hear that? It was on the news." And I said, "No." And the thing of it is sometimes it gets a little depressing to listen to the news all the time, because they're posting and they're talking about all the stuff that's kind of negative, and they forget to talk about all the things that are positive. But I remember there was a station, I don't remember where it is, there's some kind of a radio show out there, if you guys know, or TV show with its news, and it's all about the good things. So could you call in 702-731-1230, 702-731-1230, and let us know if you know what channel that is, because it's a news channel that only gives good news.
Good. So so Saturday night the place is packed, and I got 2 secretaries, just absolutely marvelous kids. They do such a nice job for me, and I paid them very well. And I said, ladies, I need one to hang the coats, one to tend the bar. Would you be so kind to do that? Well, these kids work with me all day, and I was watching them at night. In fact, Brian, our
Ryan.
engineer, Ryan, what's the difference?
It's a difference to his mother.
What's that? Well, as long as you got the check right. So anyway, they worked very, very diligently. But the fun part was everybody leaves, and I said, they said, Mr. Leonetti, thank you so much. We had a great time. I said, now the fun begins. And they looked at me and said, what do you mean? I said, well, now the fun begins. You have a nice day. Now, Dr.
Cleaning?
Perry and my attorney, Dr.
Neil.
Perry and Neil Coleman-Harris, they're the executive producers and our partners of the show and so forth and so on. They stayed and they BS till 1 a.m. I came out, and ladies and gentlemen,
He came out with a vacuum
I
cleaner
was ready to drop.
shampoo.
I looked around. I said, oh, my God. I said, look at his house. There was wine glasses here. What's the matter, honey? What do you hit me for?
It's time for a break.
I'll take a break when I'm ready.
It's time for a break.
So anyway, what happens is I turn around and I got the machine, and I got the machine. What kind of machine was it? It was
a shampoo
machine.
But
it took
you know,
me
you
2
can
hours.
tell them all about that after this break.
No, I'm going to go
actually,
home.
we've got somebody calling in, and I want to make sure we've got enough time for him.
Oh,
Vernell Brown,
oh
jazz
my God, he'll never
pianist.
shut
Vernell
up.
Brown. He's going to be right back
Vernell.
after a message from our sponsors.
Is he on, Vernell? Where's he at? He's sleeping.
We'll be right back.
He ain't
Hold
coming
on.
He's
He
sleeping.
is too. No, he's not.
Sleeping.
I already talked to him.
Girl, Santa baby, so hurry down the chimney tonight.
Sandy, I'm so excited.
Everybody's a winner. This is Sandy Kastel and Friends. Here again, your host, Sandy Kastel.
Hi, and welcome back to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael. And Vernell Brown should be calling in anytime
He
now.
ain't
Vernell,
calling in,
if you're
he's
listening
sleeping.
in, you better. No, he was talking to me earlier. I was.
What
talking
happened
to
to
him.
Mimi from the Jazz Society? What? The only time she calls us is when she wants to make a plug. Mimi, what happened to you?
Well, that's what they do, and that's okay with
God,
me.
yeah, I know.
I was on Evan Davis's website today. Evan Davis.
Who's that?
He has his jazz blog, and I was on his jazz blog this morning. I just was checking to see if we had our stuff posted up there, and under recent posts, it had I clicked on it. It said Sandy Kastel and Friends. I clicked on it, and there came our poster. So we got our poster up there on the Evan Davis Jazz blog, and I wanted to let everybody know that Vernell Brown was going to be here today. Vernell, where are you? Call in 702-731-1230.
This kid is sleeping.
He isn't.
Yeah,
You know what?
most
He just got
musicians-
back. He just
Yeah.
got back. He was working somewhere else, and then the minute he got back, he got a call to be in Baltimore.
Did you see the song he played
What?
on the television?
Who?
That was the first time I heard. I didn't recognize it.
The
Vernell
who?
Brown.
The song that he played?
Yeah, the jazz number he played
What
on
was
piano.
it? All of Me. No, what was it?
It was the one that Jimmy Melodor played, Giant Steps.
Oh, it was Giant Steps. Isn't that funny?
And I'd never heard
on
of
a
Giant-
TV show. Yeah, Vernell Brown was on our TV show last weekend for everybody who saw it. If they didn't catch it on TV, on Keen TV and the Walk TV, then they can also find it on YouTube.com, and they just look for Sandy Kastel and Friends TV show.
Right.
And it will show you every single week. We'll be posting our TV shows up on our YouTube channel, so be sure and check us out.
Yeah, we're
and
excited.
Vernell Brown was up there last weekend, and he was talking about the event that he did earlier in the year, where he was teaching students, and that's a good thing about him, because he was doing on these master classes and stuff.
I tell you, yesterday with Smith's, I was there, and I got to tell you, folks, I was exhausted. I was tired. I got up. I didn't go to bed till 2:30 in the morning, and then we got up I got up at 5:30 because my eyes automatically open up. So I got up, I looked at the house and mopped the floor and did all what I had to do, And then I loaded my van up and went over to Smith's to put the balloons and Sandy's poster. And I'm up there, and I sold 5 pieces of shoulder pork. So I'm at the butcher department, and women, I'm saying, "Hi, this is Chef Mike."
5 pieces of shoulder pork. Oh my God, big shoulder pork.
Right, because people.
Oh
one
my
guy
gosh.
says, "Chef Mike, every time I make a steak," and they were asking me questions, and I could have seen that a lot of people did not know what the hell they were doing.
Yeah.
So I said, "Look," she said, "How do I make like a prime rib for the holidays?" Now,
yeah.
prime rib, let me tell you something, folks. If you don't know what the hell you're doing, it can be dry out, it can be terrible. So I turned around and I said, "Look, I got a chuck roast for you. I want to show you something. It's the cheapest piece of meat. This is what I want you to do." So I take out the meat and I show it to her. I said, "This is for 6 people." I said, "You get 3 cans of French onion soup."
French onion.
Oh, yeah. And then get a pan, a nice roasting pan, put the French onion soup in it, add 3 cans of water, you could add some fresh onion if you like. You add your granulated garlic, your parsley. Be careful with the salt. Not too much, because remember, French onion is salty.
That's right.
All right? Add your black pepper, cover it, put it in the oven. I said for 5.5 to 6 hours at 350.
5.5 to 6 hours. That's a long time.
I said, "Here's my card."
Is that what makes it so
Tender.
it just fall apart
Yes,
off the bone
tender.
and everything?
I
Yeah.
said that people will go crazy. She said, "Okay, Chef Mike," and she said, "What do I do with the juice?" I said, "Well, if you want an odd juice, which is fine, you don't touch it. But if you want to tighten it up like a gravy, then you add Wondra." Now, for those that are out there that know what a roux is, that's oil and flour. You know what I mean? What the restaurants use. But for the person that is just a novice, and let me tell you something, I use Wondra all the time.
And I noticed you had the canisters of Wondra right
Wondra,
there on
right.
our table out there when we were giving away those $25. There were different ones. There was $25, $20, $10, all these different gift certificates.
Oh, Smith's had a ball.
for everybody that got a raffle ticket. And then also the Star International was there, and they were giving out free show tickets to everybody who signed up.
incredible.
So we're going to do that again, hopefully sometime soon. Anyway, we've got Vernell Brown, jazz pianist extraordinaire, on the phone. Hi, Vernell. How are you? Good morning. Are you there?
Hi, yes, I'm here. Hey, happy holidays and Merry Christmas.
Thank you. We were talking. Where were you this weekend, Vernell? I know you went out of town for a couple of days.
Yes, I was actually in Pittsburgh. I'm playing at a major jazz festival in Pittsburgh at the Hazlitt Theater.
Hazlitt Theater?
Yes.
Yeah, and then you just got back, last night or something? Late?
Yeah, late last night. Yeah.
I told you you were sleeping.
I apologize for the jet lag.
Well, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. For those that don't know the word Vernell Brown, let me say that one more time. Vernell Brown. Okay?
Vernell Brown Jr.
Vernell Brown. That's Vernell Brown from Allentown. Okay? Let me tell you.
AR at the end. Vernell Brown Jr.
All right, Vernell Brown Jr. For our 90,000 listeners that listen to us every day.
Just on radio.
And
then on TV, who saw Vernell Brown on TV last weekend.
Right.
AM, 12:30 a.m.
Right.
That's right.
12:30 a.m.
Right.
That's right.
Vernell Brown, ladies and gentlemen, is a piano player.
I'm on the station right now, 12:30 a.m.
Vernell, did you just put yourself on the speaker?
Because you sound like you're coming out of the toilet. Hold on.
Yeah, you got to stay on the phone.
You got to stay on the phone, kid.
Go ahead.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, what I was saying to you is that when people listen to our program, they go, Vernell Brown, who is he? Well, Junior. First of all, he's a piano player. All right, now let me give you.
I'm a junior because my father's name is Senior. He's Vernell Brown Senior.
All right.
And also for your information, it's a French name, but also my aunt's name is Vernell. Also, it's a unisex name.
It is? I didn't know that.
Well, that's a wonderful name.
It's a male and a female name.
Very nice.
Yes.
Well, that's okay. Well, let me get my thought out, and then I'll make you talk to Sandy. So for those that don't know the name Vernell Brown Jr., okay, he's a piano player. Now, people would say to me, what kind of a piano player is he? Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you ever heard of Dave Brubeck and you've ever heard of Oscar Peterson, they're two of one of the most greatest piano, and Thelonious Monk. These gentlemen are the masters of masters. Vernell Brown is a combination of these three giants. He's one of the greatest jazz pianists that you have ever heard in your life. The man he's a prodigy. You know what I mean? And those gentlemen that I mentioned are long gone. But Vernell Brown Jr. will carry the flag of Thelonious Monk. He will carry the flag of Dave Brubeck, and he will carry the flag of Oscar Peterson. And that is my analogy of Vernell Brown Jr.
Wow.
Excuse me, sir, the correct pronunciation of your name.
My name is Steve Wynn.
Okay. Well, Brother Steve, for you to say that, may I speak to your secretary, because I am completely overwhelmed and overjoyed by your gracious comment, and I thank you very much. I don't understand. Actually, I'm starting to cry right now, so we got to be careful.
Well, let me tell you something,
You're going to touch his heart so much that he's not going to be able to carry on.
About Chef Michael. Chef Michael's the most opinionated guy on the radio.
That's for sure.
When somebody's a soup can, which they're not good musicians or entertainers, I call them soup cans, and Las Vegas is full of them. But when you get somebody like you that is a true giant, that's a true master, you're in the lines of the Jimmy Mellodors and the Thelonious Monks and the Brubecks of our world. I mean, there's only a handful of people that are out there. There's a guy named Uli Dukendorf.
Geisendorfer.
Whatever the hell the kid's name is.
Come on, Michael.
How do you pronounce it? Uli
Geisendorfer.
And he is another great jazz musician, and it's a pleasure to see great musicians that are out there that play.
Well, I know Vernell knows Uli well, and as a matter of fact, I think a couple years ago, you and Uli did some things together, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, the most recent thing we did, we played a couple of weeks ago.
Oh.
Over at the dispensary, and we played together, and it's always a pleasure knowing Uli. Uli's a bad cat. He's a cool cat.
Yeah.
But you know something, for now, what I miss? And there's only a handful of guys. Steve Johnson used to be in my band, and Steve was a B3 Hammond player, and this guy was a combination of Groove Holmes. Okay, you remember Groove Holmes, who played Misty in '66? That was great. And Jimmy Smith. Yeah. Not too many cats play B3 anymore. I mean, I don't know where the hell did these guys go?
Well,
right. With me, when it comes to organ, I just got the utmost respect for organ players. That's why I decided not to play the organ and just stick to the piano, because technically, I think there's a lot more work to do with the organ than there is with the piano. So, hanging out with my brother, Joey DeFrancesco, we talk a lot and everything, and I know he played the piano before, but there's so much that he did to learn how to play the organ. And
Right.
I said, you know what? I'm sticking to the piano. You know, if they can give me a lesson, it's cool. But I'll just stick to the piano.
Well, you know, but it's good because you're, you know, focusing in one area and mastering, you know, that.
Yes.
And speaking of mastering, what we talked about a little bit on the TV show was the master class that you did back in the springtime. And tell us how that went, because that was I was real excited about that.
That was incredible because I became a voting member for the Grammys, and they asked me over at Grammy Pro now, before it used to be called Grammy 365. They sent me some information, and they wanted me to help sponsor some children for a big, it's kind of a festival study course for children, because I'm really big on the youth and just sponsoring the youth, you know.
Right.
The more children that we have that are playing instruments, the less violence that we'll see on the street. And the more, you know, children that we'll see going to college and enjoying a great life, you know. So I'm saying just pick up your instrument and play. It was a great situation. And I sponsored a couple of students, and I look forward to seeing, you know, where they'll be in the future.
Uh-huh. Now, who was involved with that? You had a couple other people involved with that, didn't you?
Yeah, there was a few musicians. You know, one of the big cats. I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart right now because it was like at least like seven or eight of them, and you know they never call me back because they receive scholarships all over the place. But actually, Julian Tanaka, he's the main cat. He just received a full scholarship to the Eastman School in New York City.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, you know, so I know you've got a new project coming up. You've got a new project coming up in, a couple of weeks? You're going to go into the recording studio.
Absolutely, yes.
So, and what are you going to do? What are you going to
I'm doing a trio record. You know,
Okay.
I want to focus on acoustic music, and a great bass player, Steve Flora, and Ryan Rhodes is playing drums with me. We're going to go in the studio, and we're putting out this record because we've had a lot of people knocking on our doors from like Sony and Warner Brothers and Mac Avenue and a few different other record companies. So we're going to go ahead and just put this record out. I'm thinking about a title. I'm thinking about Progression. But it's still preliminary because we're still in the post-production. But I think a really cool thing is a guy that he gave me a stamp, and as a little kid, I used to always listen to him, and I was surprised he invited me to play on stage with him in Cancun. Chick Corea.
Whew, Chick Corea.
Yeah. So he gave me, you know, him and his wife's home number. I had some dinner with him, and I took a picture with him, and I'm like, oh boy, you know, Chick. He looks like he's 35 years old, but he's 73.
Isn't that amazing? Amazing.
And he actually, the brother lives on the road. I say brother, and like you're my sister, you know. He lives on the road. You know, he's been on, like, usually 11 months out of the year, he's always on the road. And that's how he gets most of his inspiration. And I'm just really grateful. I said, man, I was 16 years old, and I wrote a letter to you. And he looked at me and goes, did I write you back? And I said, no, you didn't.
He didn't.
You know, I'm 43 now, so I'm like, you know, this is a beautiful thing. He goes, oh, well, I'm going to write you now. Yeah, that's a great connection. I mean, you know, the jazz musicians out here in Las Vegas and around the world, they need to know that, see, I'm the kind of cat that I will support all the jazz cats. You know, when I grew up, like Julian Tanaka's age, they'd have the older cats, and they'd say, oh, sit down, kid, you know, stand on the corner, you know, learn from me, that kind of a thing. I'm like, no, I need to learn from you. What can you do to help me? I mean, how can we become more human as possible and grow as human beings? You know what I mean?
Well, plus, I think any time that you're working with children, they are they don't have any limits. You know, they just think outside the box automatically. And a lot of times people are trying to fit them into the box. And so I think for you as a jazz musician, obviously jazz musicians are always thinking out of the box too. That's just kind of their nature, you know. But so even more so, you're responsive, even more so to that kind of a thing. But I think that's really good that you recognize that you can, even as a teacher, teachers can learn from the students, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. And I appreciate you saying that. And you're right, because we're teachers and students at the same time. It's all synonymous, right?
Yeah, right. And so now I know, now working with students, traveling, you've been traveling. You said you racked up 100,000 miles this past year on the airplanes.
That was just on United Airlines. I flew Air France and the other ones too, but it was 100,000 miles on on United. Yeah.
Just on that airline, and that was traveling around, performing with in different cities around the world.
Now on the piano. I want to jump in here. You can't carry a baby grand piano on your back everywhere you go. It's not like a drummer or a saxophone player or a trumpet player. Do you have a special style of piano that when you do travel, you know, because as you well know, Vernell, because I dibble on the keys myself. You know, the touch is different. You know, sometimes it's harder touch, an easy touch, or just it doesn't make any difference. Is there a certain kind of piano that you say, you know, Mike, this is what I love to play?
Right. When I was talking to Herbie Hancock, because we talk a lot, and they gave him a Young Chang piano, and I liked that one. That was interesting. The Bosendorfer, I really like because it has the lower notes, but
right.
I'm a big Steinway fan.
Me too.
Same.
Yeah.
Do you like it? Do you like 5.5 foot? Do you like 6, 7, 7.5, or 9?
Studio good.
Studio?
From you know what, any foot on the Steinway is good for me. I mean, the upright and everything. I mean, it's incredible. You know, Yamaha. I was endorsed by Yamaha years ago, and they sent me a Yamaha C7 and a bunch of equipment. They actually mailed a piano in a box. But you know, that's a very, very beautiful instrument, and I like it. Steinway, I love Steinway. You know, it's kind of hard to compare. I mean, I had the guy that was doing the tuning for Chick Corea, he gave me this $300 piano tuning key. And from what I understand, if you try to tune the pianos yourself, the string could break, and it could be a bad experience if it hits you in the face. So I'm like, whoa, you're giving me this key? I said, cool. I'll just put it like right by my little altar, you know.
Yeah.
I'll sit down and pray, and I'll just look at it and say, thank you for the gift. But, Steinway is great. You know, out here, everywhere I've played in Vegas, we've been, you know, delivered with, you know, pianos, Steinway pianos. Steinway is really, really awesome. So, you know, if Yamaha wants to give a call in and do some competition, that's cool.
Now does Steinway, do they sponsor you? Are they one of your, what is that called?
Yeah.
Endorsement. Vegas. Do they endorse you?
They've endorsed me in Las Vegas, but Yamaha was the first. And the interesting thing, you guys are going to really, really laugh. You know about the Kawai pianos, right?
Yeah.
They had a couple of representatives that went in the house, and I was at the house with my mom and dad. We had a grand Kawai piano and also a grand Yamaha C7, then also a Yamaha disc clavier that they gave me.
Right.
But they looked at the Kawai and they say, Vernell, why are you playing on a Kiwi?
A Kiwi?
Wait a minute. A Kiwi? Am I eating a piece of fruit? Because it's nothing but a piece of fruit. Why are you playing on a Kiwi? You know how you know, they compete against each other. So.
Well, aren't they? But Vernell, aren't they made in the same factories out in Japan?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So because I have a Kawai also, and I had a Yamaha. I had both, and
I love Kawai.
But there is a different feel, and just like a Steinway, it's got a totally different feel. I love the Steinway, and I had a console that was from 1923. Or the 20s, something. I don't remember exactly what year. And it was beautiful. It had the Queen Anne legs, you know, and stuff like that. And it was a beautiful piano. I love that. But then I traded that in and got a a Studio B, which is obviously for those of you who don't know, a lot of times in the homes, people will get a little, baby mini a small grand piano, which is like about 5 foot to 6 foot. But then when you get into the studio pianos are usually 6'10", and then that's a studio called the Studio B on the Steinway, and then it's a C7, I think, on the Yamaha is about the same size, right? And the Kawai.
Yeah, that's what I have. I have a C7, but because I had a problem with the strings and the internals with moving it around too much. I decided to just go ahead and get rid of it.
Oh, yeah. Now, what kind of I think what Michael was asking, is there an electric piano that you travel with, or do you just show up at a gig and whatever piano they have, you play?
I usually show up at the gig, but they show up with a grand Steinway or a grand Yamaha.
Okay.
Well, Vernell, I've been playing drums since I was a kid. I'm 62. Now, my grandfather, God rest his soul, he bought me my set of drums, my last set, in 1964. They were Ludwig. And I had those drums all those years. And then I put the drums away for over 20 years, never thinking I would ever play. And naturally, meeting Sandy, I got back in the ring again. And people say, Mike, why don't you buy another set of drums? I could buy 50,000 sets of drums. The question is this that when I get behind them skins and I play, I can still see my grandfather's face. I can still see that old man in the audience, so proud, watching me. And I never got rid of the drums. And, they're over 50 years old. Would you believe, Vernell, I never broke a skin. I never broke a drum head. And I never broke a stick. I got the same 7A sticks for over 50 years. It's amazing. And I'm a hard player.
And he doesn't just hit them lightly.
No, I'm a hard hitter. I hit hard. You know what I mean?
There must have been some hard drumsticks back then.
Right. And playing with the great Jimmy Melodor, who's one of the best jazz saxophone players. He's like John Coltrane. I mean, Jimmy's like a legend. And me and Jimmy, and we're working on something right now to do the Smith Center. And that'd be a phenomenal thing. And it's going to be a great honor because, everybody wants to play the Smith Center, I guess.
I would love to go. Kenny Garrett's been talking to me. He says for the show we did in Pittsburgh, it took them 7 years to get Kenny Garrett to play there because he's always, he was Miles Davis's last saxophone player, and he's also my best friend. And we talk all the time. We were on the phone transcribing this, and if you can hear it, there's like this Miles Davis lick. It goes like. And it keeps going over and over again. You know what I mean? So we're working on that.
I love it.
Sandy gets excited very easy. I took a Jack in the Box. I twirled the Jack in the Box. Oh, ain't that great? She said. That's
I've got like a gold label Wurlitzer piano that I got from a fireman. They live in these big acres with all of these black stallion horses all over the place. And thankfully, my sister, Maisha Brown, she's the one that was able to connect me with that piano. And my sister, she worked the business, and thanks to my sister, Maisha Brown, I have that piano.
Are you going to be? Are you going to be in town in February?
The beginning of February, I'm going to be in the Netherlands.
Oh wow, the Netherlands! But jeez.
Yeah, I'm going to be in the Netherlands like the first and a half week of February. What? Do you have any plans? You want me to play with you?
I would. Jimmy Melodor would love you. I mean, you need to pull Jimmy up on YouTube.
You know Jimmy, don't you?
You know Jimmy, don't you?
Do you know Jimmy?
I don't have his personal telephone number.
I'll give it to you. I just got off the phone.
We're gonna put you guys together.
I talk to Jimmy every morning. I pick up the phone. He waits for me to call him because Jimmy's at the age now where he's ready to go into the home. I'm hard to tease you. And Jimmy was, Don't
let him hear you say that.
No, and Jimmy's like the ultimate. I mean, you two guys.
No, he's great.
He's like, I mean, if you like John Coltrane, you would love Jimmy.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of player Jimmy is. He's a John. You know him, Charlie Bird, the Birdman.
Well, tell him he played the same song. Remember what Michael said to me?
Giant Steps.
Before you came on, the song you played on the TV on our TV show this weekend. Jimmy played at our event that we did at the Canyon Gate Country Club just a few weeks ago.
Go on,
Giant Steps.
Giant Steps. Go on YouTube. Is it YouTube? You can go on YouTube and put in Sandy Kastel Thanksgiving show.
That's right. It's on the Thanksgiving show, and you can see it on YouTube.
And you'll see a piece of him doing Giant Steps with the big band. I mean, this guy. I mean, he's a combination of John Coltrane and Charlie Bird.
But it's funny because you're working with all these great musicians, Vernell, and but it's interesting because not everybody is a fan of that kind of jazz. You know what I mean? Everybody can sit still for that kind of jazz. I love it. I guess because I grew up listening to that kind of stuff with my dad. But a lot of times, people want to hear stuff that, familiar songs that they're used to, and, so they can sing along with them. Well, Giant Steps, you don't really sing along to,
Well, right. It's just like that piece you just...
Yeah.
I'm glad you sounded good. I'll send you a box of birdseed first thing tomorrow morning.
Hey, listen, Vernell, hold on just a second, okay? If you're just tuning in now, you're listening to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael, and we're going to take a brief pause to hear back from our sponsors, and then we'll be right back with Vernell Brown Jr. here on Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show.
Junior.
With Chef Michael.
Think of all the fellas that I haven't kissed. Next year I could be.
This is Sandy Kastel and Friends. Here again, your host, Sandy Kastel.
Hi, and welcome back to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael. Right now, we've got Vernell Brown Jr. on the phone, and I think we're going to try to get Jimmy Molendorf if we can reach him. But, that would be a lot of fun, Vernell, if we could put something together.
Vernell, it's time for you to showcase yourself in Vegas. You know what I mean? You're going all over the friggin' world, And the bottom line is what's important is, you want to step in the ring, but you don't want to be with any soup cans. You want to step in a ring with some giants. Because if you're going to do a shot, if you're going to, listen, my father always said to me, Michael, your first impression's your last.
Well, he has been working with giants around the world.
I'm not saying Vernell.
You've played over at the Smith Center, haven't you, Vernell?
Yeah, I played there with Pancho Sanchez.
Pancho Sanchez, yeah, okay.
He asked me to be a guest percussionist.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I sat in. He asked me to come and sit in with him on one song. I played with him over there.
Well, I also sat in with Pancho Villa. but I sang at the El Cortez restaurant.
Right.
All right. Well, we can't reach Jimmy right now, but we will. We are going to put you guys together and see if that's something you guys want to do together. And so I know. All right. You've also worked. The way I met you. I'm going to bring up Wendy Carianis. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Our good friend, and she's. I met her. She came on my show. What? 3 years ago here at KLAV. She was one of my first guests on the show. Yeah. And then she introduced me to you, and I had you on the show. So you've actually been coming on the show for the last 3 years. And then, but you've started out, you came on the show, and then you went traveling, and you came on the show, and you went traveling some more. So you've done a lot of different shows since your very first appearance on I think it was called, what was it called? Lunch
Sandy
with Sandy?
Kastel,
Or was
Lunch
it called
with
Wema?
Sandy.
It might have been called Wema. I can't remember now because we had a couple different show names for the show.
I remember Wema.
Yeah, Wema.
The Wema Web.
Now we've included men, Vernell, so you need to be, you need to be a member now of WIMA.
Oh, okay.
It's WIMA, Women and Men in Music and Arts, empowering artists of all ages through education, mentoring, and scholarships. And for us, Vernell, it really is a lot about mentoring, and mentoring comes in a lot of ways, as you know, just by doing some of the workshops you're doing, these master classes, or the same that by us, we have different artists that we've been working with. We let them, we did some open mics. We have them come up. Some of these artists maybe haven't sung with a big band. We had some people people come. We had Peter Pavone. I mean, he came on our show. Mark Giovi came on the show with the big band, and then also with young new artists that are just starting out. Giving them an opportunity to do something.
Yeah, we tried. We try to do the right thing. The women event. We had Gigi Ullman, who's she's an artist and a art
dealer. She's actually an art dealer,
and she donated this absolutely
Leroy
Neiman, magnificent. The Pavarotti, Jose Carrere, Luciana Pavarotti, and Placido Domingo. This beautiful painting, and
the Three Tenors.
The Three Tenors, and Dr. Perry bought it. Dr. Perry bought and raised a couple $1,000s for the WEMA event.
Right.
And one thing about Dr. Perry, I'm going to say, you're going to meet him, Vernell. He was a brain surgeon. He's retired. He operated on me, so you have no brain, he said to me.
But Vernell,
all right.
I remember I asked you a question when you came on the radio show a long time ago, and I know at the time you'd never been asked that question, but now you have. But I want to ask it again because I want our listeners now to hear this. And what is your number one thing, a piece of advice that you would give to young artists starting out today?
Yes. For young artists starting out today, it would be really learn history, learn who was on this planet Earth before you, and really try and, just imagine that these musicians, entertainers are living on the earth with you at the time, and make it feel like this is your first time that you're actually engaging in their music, like the Thelonious Monks, like the Dave Brubecks, those cats, because everybody does something that sounds like them, but ironically, what it ends up being is it's just a different tinge to what's going on. But the blueprint has the masters on it,
right?
So don't be afraid to go back to the 1930s and even 20s, and learn how this music has evolved.
So study the masters.
Study the masters. Well, let me say, Vernell, I'm very pleased to announce that I want to introduce you on the air to one of the
greatest. We've only got a couple minutes, but we want to introduce you.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce one of the greatest, of the greatest saxophone players in the world, not in the country, in the world. His name is Jimmy Melodor.
Hi, Jimmy. How you doing?
Sandy, how are you?
Good. Listen, the reason we called you is because we've got Vernell Brown Jr. on the line, and I know we've only got like a minute here, but we want to put you guys together to talk about doing something together, because I think he was on our TV show last week. We featured him, and he was playing, guess what? Giant Steps.
Oh, wow.
So, Vernell Brown, meet Jimmy Molidor.
Hey, Jimmy, it's a pleasure meeting you, brother. Wow, nice to meet you. You sound like some of my friends from Brooklyn, man. That's cool. oh, watch out now.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you two guys together. Jimmy, listen to me. You know me. You know how we are. We can't have any soup cans in the band. This kid will blow you off the roof, because when it comes to jazz, Jimmy, this kid's a combination of Thelonious Monk, Dave Brubeck, and Oscar Peterson. If you like them three guys, Jim, you will love this kid. This kid travels all over the world. And I said to him, will you be in town in February? Because Jimmy and I are working on something right now, and if he's in town in February, Jim, I'm telling you, this kid, you will love him. He's on the piano. He's playing right now.
Oh, sorry about that.
It's all right for now.
That's great, man.
So, Jimmy, we're gonna give you his phone number so you guys can talk, okay?
That would be fantastic.
And Jimmy, we love you, and thank you for joining us Saturday at the big WEMA event and my birthday party. And Vernell Brown Jr., thank you for joining us here today on Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael. And we're going to put you guys in touch, and we'll be talking to you later, okay?
Take care. I appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a fabulous day. Check out Vernell Brown music on his website, vernellbrownjr.com.
Come and trim my Christmas.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. See you tomorrow. Oh, my God. What's today?
I
Friday?
had a hesitation, huh?
It's Friday today?
No. It is. What day is it?
It's Monday.
It's Monday. Good morning. We'll see you tomorrow here on KLAV. Bye.
I want to let everybody out there know that we buy vinyl. We buy 45s, we buy LP.